coming up on Network Africa. 13 hostages freed after a successful operation by Cameroonian troops. Botswana declares health emergency as it runs out of medicines and supplies. Plus, we'll be speaking to the man riding his bicycle from Lagos to the United States to draw awareness to IDPs and orphaned kids in Africa. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. I'm Amarachi Ubani. The lives of 13 hostages freed by security operatives from the hands of a militia group will never remain the same again as they reunite with their families. The 13, including 5 children, were abducted by a killer a week earlier, Authorities confirmed the 3 of those freed were Chadian nationals who had been kidnapped prior to the bus accident. During a ceremony to mark the handover of the hostages to their families, the regional governor offered each of them 500,000 francs each as immediate financial support. One of them said he'd given up on life after he went into captivity. Authorities have not specified the identity of the kidnappers, though the far north region has experienced frequent attacks by Boko Haram, whose activities have spilled over from Nigeria into northern Cameroon since 2009. Going up to Northern Africa, there are reports that Libya's Coast Guard fired upon a vessel belonging to a humanitarian group as it searched for a migrant boat in distress in the Mediterranean Sea. The attack, which took place the day before, appeared to be one of the most violent involving a European rescue ship and the Libyan Coast Guard, which receives training, equipment and funding from the European Union. SOS Mediterranean said the confrontation took place about 40 nautical miles north of the Libyan coast and released details and images of the incident. No casualties were reported, although the group said the vessel sustained significant damage. The non-profit charters the Norwegian-flagged Ocean Viking in partnership with the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. SOS Mediterranean said the patrol boat used by the Libyan Coast Guard was a 2023 gift from Italy to Libya as part of the European Union's support for border management program. Well, the 2025 African Chiefs of Defense Summit is ending in Nigeria's federal capital territory, Abuja, as African countries promise to strengthen collaboration, invest in digital security technologies, and build human capacity as part of efforts to address security threats across the continent. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Africa faces existential threats from multifaceted security challenges, including armed political conflict, terrorism, militancy, sea piracy, and banditry. To combat these threats to regional peace and security on the continent, the chiefs of defense staff and representatives of the armed forces from 54 African countries converge on Abuja, Nigeria's capital, for the maiden African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit. Vice President Kashim Shettima is representing President Bola Tinubu at the event, which also attracts former Nigeria security chiefs, past and present lawmakers, diplomats, and international development partners. The focus of the summit is on strengthening strategic defense collaboration.
The threats of today are no longer confined to conventional warfare. They are digital, asymmetric, and often invisible. The enemy is within. As Chiefs of Defense Staff and heads of our armed forces, we must lead the charge in modernizing our forces, investing in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military technology, without which it will be difficult for us to achieve our security.
The ECOWAS Commission announces some interventions, including a 260,000 rapid deployment force.
While ECOWAS remains firmly committed to reason its 5,000-man brigade under the auspices of the African Peace and Security Architecture, and more particularly the Continental Standby Force. The activation of this rapid deployment force has become a necessity given the asymmetric security dynamics in the region.
The keynote speaker is the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, and she says Africa is not a bystander in global security, as she calls for collaboration in digital security infrastructure.
We need the right tools and mapping in place to plan and to drive strategy at scale, reinforcing the Accra Initiative, the ECOWAS Standby Force, and giving the Joint Threat Fusion and Analysis Cell the support it needs to ensure data become decisions. The same applies at sea, joint patrols that make the Yaoundé architecture real protection for people and infrastructure. And innovation must be part of our defense, collaborating on AI from drones to cyber tools, and building on African Union's AI strategy can help us to set common standards to keep technology serving people.
She emphasizes strong institutions and democracy that focus on building the people.
We know that every additional year of schooling reduces the likelihood of a young person joining armed groups by up to 13%. This evidence begs the question, how do we invest in peace? Is it just military spending? Is it development spending? Is it both? That is the discussion that we will need to have in this room and beyond. And it means tackling root causes. It means democracy that is robust and representative, not on constitutional changes dressed up as solutions. While this might seem legitimate in many eyes, in the longer term, democracy and by extension security will be weakened. Instead, strong institutions underpinned by strong democracies and strong security apparatus are the safeguard against instability.
For Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is representing President Bola Tinubu at the event, Africa must stand united in fighting its common enemies.
What is true of our challenges must also be true of our resolve. We cannot neutralize these threats in isolation. This is the moment to reassess our military objectives in the collective aspirations to make Africa safe. It is time to forge a new doctrine of continental defense, one rooted in trust, shared intelligence, and coordinated strategy. Nigeria's promise has always been simple and firm: to be a good neighbor and a brother's keeper in the struggle for peace. Our armed forces have stood shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors and far beyond in peacekeeping missions, counter-terrorism operations, and humanitarian endeavors. We hold no illusion. Security is the foundation upon which the edifice of progress must stand.
Over the next 3 days, 5 panel sessions are expected to hold with different speakers who will address different areas of security, including border management and regional security in Africa, the imperative of strategic defense collaboration in combating terrorism, as well as leveraging artificial intelligence for regional security in Africa. From the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center, Abuja, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
And away from the summit, President Bola Tinubu has commenced his 2-day official visit to Brazil with officials welcoming ceremony. With full military honors, and he was warmly received by the host, President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, at the Planalto Palace. President Tinubu and President da Silva held expanded bilateral meetings attended by senior officials of both governments. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
An elaborate official reception is laid out for President Bola Tinubu as he arrives the presidential residence, the Planalto Palace. Led by a team of horsemen, he arrives and inspects a military guard of honor. He then makes his way to the entrance of the palace and is warmly welcomed by his host, President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. His He's then treated to a march past. The two leaders then lead their teams to the signing of several memoranda of understanding, agreements that signal a deepening of the partnership between the two nations. Speaking after the signing ceremony, President Tinubu spoke on the need for both countries to benefit from each other for the good of their citizens.
We've concluded on a number of issues, such as technology transfer. We have the youth population in Nigeria that is restless, willing, and energetic, brilliant, ready to learn, ready to work, ready to exchange ideas. We should utilize the population. We should utilize the opportunity. We should utilize those people that we have, the assets that we have.
He also touched on some of the agreements reached.
Our aviation industry, it will blossom, and aviation will propel additional opportunity for business to grow, culture to succeed, and everyone to benefit, collaborating and cooperating to do what is right for our people. I promise you that Brazil and Nigeria is here to grow the economy for the people, by the people, and for the people.
The president assured those gathered that Nigeria is ready for business. The Brazilian president assures everyone that Brazil is keen on fostering a mutually beneficial relationship.
We've thought about this for a long time. It didn't work out, but now, President, you can be sure that your visit to Brazil today definitely signifies Brazil's return to the African continent, not as a country seeking a hegemonic relationship with anyone, but as a country seeking a relationship of solidarity, fraternal, and equality, focused on the growth of the African people and the growth of the African Brazilian people.
This state visit, which is on the invitation of the Brazilian president, is expected to deepen bilateral ties between both countries. Lanre Lassese, Channels Television News.
Issues affecting Southwest states and Somalia as a whole were the focus of a visit to the federal member state's biggest city by the top United Nations official for Somalia. The UN official was speaking at a joint media encounter with Southwest States President Abdiaziz Hassan Mohammed following a meeting between the two and members of their teams. Southwest State currently hosts some 800,000 people who've been displaced by the country's dire humanitarian situation, as well as ongoing conflict with the terrorist group Al-Shabaab. Baidoa alone has around 650,000 internally displaced persons.
The President and I discussed a wide range of state and national issues, including security, preparations for elections, and humanitarian needs. He briefed me on efforts to strengthen security across Southwest State, as well as on the successful recovery of Sabid and Barire in Lower Shabelle. We also spoke about the challenges of supporting displaced communities at a time of uncertainty in humanitarian funding. I assured the President that despite global funding shortfalls, the United Nations will continue to do its utmost within available resources to assist those most in need. The President also briefed me on the voter registration drive in Southwest State, including mobile registration initiatives designed to ensure the inclusion of women, youth, internally displaced persons, and marginalized communities. On national issues, I underscored the importance of unity and inclusive dialogue among Somalia's political and federal member state leaders. And I noted that President Abdiaziz has played a constructive role in such efforts in the past and could also play a helpful role in the future. In conclusion, let me stress that the United Nations will remain a partner to Southwest State and to the federal government of Somalia in advancing peace, state building, responses to security threats, and the humanitarian and development needs of the Somali people.
We're off for the break. Still ahead on Network Africa. Scientists of Wits University in South Africa make breakthrough in wildlife trafficking. Stay with us. Welcome back to Network Africa. The impact of the U.S. halting aid to many African countries is being felt in southern Africa, Botswana, highlighting it will not be able to provide medicines as a result. The shortage of medicines and supplies has left many hospitals and clinics scrambling to treat illnesses ranging from hypertension to cancer and diabetes. The health ministry blames the crisis on financial challenges. President Tinubu says rising procurement costs and inefficient distribution systems have led to losses, waste and damage. As a scenario the country hoped to avoid. Back in early August, the health ministry warned of depleting stock and postponed all non-urgent surgeries. Since then, the finance ministry has approved 250 million pula, that's around $17.35 million, in emergency funds for medical supplies. Well, his name is Emmanuel Mian. He's 25 years old and he's a native of Benue State, riding his bicycle now to raise awareness and support for orphaned and displaced children affected by conflicts in Africa. Emmanuel says his mission stems from personal struggles and a near-death experience in 2023. He joins us now to give more insights to this cause. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us on the program.
Wow, thank you so much, man.
Oh boy, is it raining
Good
where
evening.
you are? Good evening.
Seriously raining over here.
Oh wow.
I just have to park my bike and find somewhere to rest. I'm just resting with this family over here.
Oh wow, that's nice of them to host you, especially for this interview. And that must have been challenging, isn't it? Having to deal with the elements, weather elements, as you ride your bicycle. Talk to us about that challenge and how you're coping with it.
The journey has been a little bit challenging because, Ghana has its own weather and Cote d'Ivoire has its own weather, and Benin Republic, they have their own different weather. So I think one of my biggest challenge so far is rain. I've been seriously battling with rain. So whenever the rain is much, I find somewhere to rest. If I don't find somewhere to rest, then I put on my raincoat and I keep on going.
Wow, that is pretty inspiring. But you're in Liberia now. I'm not sure you're in the capital, Monrovia. But how long did it take you to cycle from Lagos to Liberia on your bicycle?
Yeah. I'm from Lagos to Liberia, right? So today is making it day 58 on this journey. 58 since I left Nigeria. So I'm not yet in Monrovia.
Right.
I'm almost about 200 kilometers to Monrovia, of which maybe the next 2 days I will get there.
You're on a mission to get to the United States. First off, why are you doing this on a bicycle? And explain to us how the route you intend to take to the U.S., what that looks like.
Okay. The route to the U.S. I'm in Liberia now. So from Liberia, I will get to Sierra Leone. From Sierra Leone, I will get to Guinea. From Guinea, I will get to Guinea-Bissau. From Guinea-Bissau, I will get to Gambia, then Senegal. I will get to Mauritania, Morocco. Then from Morocco, I will cross to Spain. Then from Spain, my route will take me to Iceland. From Iceland to Greenland. Then from Greenland to Canada. Canada, then I come back to America. So that's how the route is going to be.
So Emmanuel, we're reading online that you said you're doing this because of a personal experience. Could you tell us about that? What happened in 2023 that caused you to take on this challenge of cycling all the way to the US?
Yeah, in 2023, I was operated of an appendix, so it was something deadly. It was something deadly. Let me not lie. I saw death that time. It was between life and death, and ever since then, I made up my mind that if God should help my life in this condition, then I will go extra mile to help the less privileged. I will help the orphanage children and help the IDP children as well. So thank God I scared through that. So from there, I said on my mind that yes, definitely I'm going to do something, and thank God that today I'm here doing it.
How does this work? You said you're raising awareness. You're also helping to raise funds. Is there a GoFundMe account for, the IDPs and the orphans that you talk about, or how exactly are you raising the naira and kobo for this? Emmanuel? Oh boy, I think the weather elements did get to him finally. Well, Emmanuel, we're wishing you all the best and a safe trip as you continue. These are just videos posted on social media of Emmanuel making the trip. As you can see, just simply on a bicycle. Great. We have questions, Emmanuel. So just before, we're interrupted by the broadband, I was asking how exactly you are intending to raise this awareness. How does this translate into naira and kobo to the people, for the people that you're raising awareness for? Yeah, we did say, well, he did say it is raining in Liberia, so I guess that may have been interrupting with our conversation. Emmanuel, once again, we wish you all the best. We'll try to catch up with you as you make this trip, a really incredible journey he is making, cycling all the way to the United States. Now the news now, in a groundbreaking breakthrough against wildlife trafficking, scientists at Wits University in South Africa have created the Rhizotopy Project, a program that injects radioactive isotopes into rhino horns to make them detectable at borders and worthless on the black market. In this video, we're looking at rhinos are being fed while roaming around in an enclosure at the rhino orphanage. Wits University researchers can also be seen injecting isotopy substances into a rhino's horns and hooves. The exact date of filming cannot be independently verified, but the initiative was launched in 2021. It has now reached its final phase after researchers confirmed the isotopes remained inside the horn without migrating into the animal's body, with the procedure harmless for the rhinos.
The key elements of the Rhizotope project was firstly to see if we put something into the horn that it stays there and doesn't move into the animal. That was the first phase. The second phase was then to find out if we put, or how much radioactive material we needed to put into the horn to make it detectable, and to then do the appropriate modelling, computer modelling, to make sure that the doses to the head of the animal were not going to harm the animal. That was the next phase. So we understand and know what the doses are, and we've compared those with results from the International Commission on Radiation Protection, and we're completely satisfied that no harm will come to these animals.
When we have young baby rhinos, they are under our care 24/7. Especially for the first 3 months of their life, we are living with them 24/7. Someone is sleeping with them, someone spends the whole day with them. If we need to go to the bathroom or you need to eat, we alternate, so someone else takes our place while we do that, so that they're not alone. because when these babies are so young in nature and wild, they are with their mother for the 24/7 for the first 2 years of their life. They are reliant on that comfort, that company. So we try to supplement that as best as we can with our presence.
And as we end the program, did you know that Lake Malawi, located between the countries of Malawi, Mozambique, and Tanzania, has more species of fish than any other lake in the world? Scientists estimate it holds over 1,000 different species, with majority living only in this lake. It's also called the Calendar Lake because it stretches about 365 miles long and 52 miles wide, just like the days and weeks in the year. And now you know. Thanks for watching Network Africa. I'm Amarachi Ubani.